All right, so hey guys, Carlos here with AgentandBrokerTraining.com. Today we have Roberto Salazar. Now, introduction on Roberto. I probably started selling health insurance a year before he started selling health insurance, and if we look at the numbers now, he's probably way above me, but let's not talk about that at the moment. But Roberto, man, thanks for giving us some time, man. I appreciate you.
Thanks for having me.
You know, this is all geared toward trying to give back. The more we give, the more we receive. So hopefully this will help somebody out.
For sure.
So tell us, man, how did you get in the business? What were your circumstances? What brought you to health insurance?
It was actually just by chance. To tell you the truth, I was out of work at the time. It was back in early 2014, and my nephew Ted, who also works here at HST, he was going to be getting into this, and he knew Eileen Brogan, who's also at HST, because they went to school together, high school. And so basically he was like, I'm going to go do this, and you're looking for work, why don't you come and check it out? And so I was like, okay, I've got nothing to lose. I had a few other interviews that I had at the time with some other stuff. I applied for like a life insurance agency, a couple other things, and I was like, okay, well, I haven't heard back from any of them, so I'll come check it out, and kind of wind up being here by chance.
The rest is history. The dollars are history.
Pretty much. I tell people all the time, if one of those other jobs had called me, I would have gone, and it would have been the worst decision I made. So the best thing that happened to me is none of them called.
None of them called you back, right?
Absolutely. That's the best thing that happened.
I think when I was like 22 years old or something like that, I was looking for a part-time job. I applied to like a currency exchange, a Walmart, and something else, and neither one of them called me back. I don't know what it was. I don't know what it was, man. But anyways, so you have been super successful in health insurance, man. A lot of people look up to you. There must be some format that you follow. There must be some formula to success, or a daily activity that you do. Can you enlighten us? Or?
I wish I could sit here and tell you that I had this XYZ procedure that I go through. The best thing that I do, I think, better than a lot of people is I just show up. And when I mean show up is I get up and I get on the phones and I do it till I can't any longer. So early on in the beginning of my career, you literally had to kick me out of the office, basically, because I decided if I was going to do something that was, no base pay, 100% commission, well, then I need to hustle. That was my whole thinking behind it. So I would start my day at 8, 9 in the morning. I would finish at 9 o'clock at night. As long as I was able to actually call and not get yelled at for it, I basically was on the phones hustling, trying to talk about insurance with people. That was my secret.
No one was going to pay the bills for you, right?
Exactly.
You're the only one who's going to pay your own bills, right?
Exactly.
So you kind of answered my next question, but one of the main questions that new agents always ask is, how many phone calls should I be making a day?
For a new agent, just because when I did it and my secret was I had to make that minimum 100 phone calls a day.
It seems to be the magic number.
That is the magic number, but I will tell you this much. Back in the beginning, when you're not talking to people and you're just getting ring, 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 I was making 150 plus. So I was even going a further level. Eventually it gets to a point where we all want to get to where we're so busy that we can't even make 30 phone calls a day.
Yeah.
And now it's kind of getting to that point. So, but in the beginning, when you're not getting everybody that you want to be talking to on the phones, you just got to keep on dialing and dialing and dialing, because obviously the more you dial, you're going to get that random person to pick up. And even if it took you 200 phone calls that day, as long as you got some people on the phone, then eventually it's going to turn into you making less phone calls and you actually talking to more people. Because it's not so much about the dials, it's about the contacts. You need to get those 5 to 10 contacts a day in the beginning, and if it takes 200 calls, then so be it.
Right.
Don't get fixated on the dials. Get more fixated on, did I make 5 to 10 contacts today?
Somebody once told me that it was not about how many dials you make, but how many contacts you make. So instead of setting a goal for 100 phone calls a day, maybe set a goal for, I want to make 2 contacts today, right? Something like that.
Absolutely. I made it a point where I wasn't going to go home unless I had like 5 good phone calls that day. And that's what it'll always boil down to. So once I actually got satisfied that I hit that point, then maybe I stopped. And again, that could have been 100 phone calls, could have been 150, and some days it could have been 30. It's just the way it all crumbles out in the end.
I understand. So another question that they always ask is, what time of day? You've already answered how long you've been working. Since you were working 9 to 9 or 8 to 8, did you find a particular time of day that was best for you? Or I guess answer that question. What time of day is best to call?
My two favorite times of the day,
Okay.
still from the beginning that I started to now, is probably from about 8 a.m. to about 10 or 11, so depending on the time zones you're calling. That's kind of the time in the morning that I find that I reach a good amount of people because they haven't really either started their day yet. Maybe they work later, or if you've got like a stay-at-home mother or something like that, they're not drenched into their day yet. And then I don't really like the lunchtime part of the day. That's always what I found to be slower. And then I love evenings. I probably made my bread and butter, especially in the beginning of this career, calling people from about 3 to 8 o'clock at night.
Okay.
That's still to this day, when I'm disciplined enough to continue to work that late, that's when I'm getting my most contacts, because I call I don't focus as much as other people do on small businesses. I focus on individuals, families. So that's when they're off of work, and that's when they're a little bit more prone to pick up the phone.
I see. Tell me, how long did it take you to make your first sale?
Let's see. I officially started in May of 2014, but my quote-unquote super start class was July. So it actually took me about 3 months.
3 months.
So May, June, July. Yeah.
Why are we doing this interview then? I'm just kidding, man. The last person said it took him 2 days. I'm like, okay, it took me a month, man. It took me a long time.
No, it took me a while. It was probably more like the end of June, and then I didn't get paid on it until July, so that's why I triggered for July. And like I said, it took me a little while. It's hard in the beginning.
Yeah,
it's hard, and I started calling what are B leads. The leads that have been recycled and you just been used and abused over and over again. The only reason I made that first initial sale is because I had a buddy who actually had his dad who needed a Medicare supplement.
I see.
And I went with my manager, Eileen, and she basically walked me through the whole application at the person's house. And then after that, I don't know what happened. Maybe I just got my taste for my first sale. I don't know. And then it just started to kind of progressively pick up from there.
So, how did you survive? How did you survive for those first 3 months?
Barely. I could tell you the truth. I mean, I had
without spilling the beans and.
Yeah, I mean, I had a little bit of money, just tucked away. I think anybody who comes into this business has to understand that the first 3 to 6 months, money will be tight. So you better have something for a rainy day. It's easier said than done, obviously. But no, I barely just skated by. I could tell you this much: when I actually started making sales, I progressively made it a goal to kind of hit an amount where I knew that I needed to hit to kind of survive. So at first, I just wanted to see a consistent $300 a week paycheck. And then eventually, when that seemed like it was starting to get going, I increased it to 5, and then et cetera, et cetera. So that was just the goal. I just wanted to see $300 a week paycheck so I can basically pay my bills and eat and do what I need to do.
So your first client was from a referral friend, right?
Yes.
Obviously, you I mean, I run out of friends quickly. You might not run out of friends. You might have the whole country has friends. But after your friends run out, what kind of marketing did you do? Where did you get new clients from?
So I am a little bit of an anomaly. At this job, they tell you to have 3 different marketing points. I obviously did a little bit with friends and family, but I didn't want to saturate them with that.
Right.
So it was more or less by coincidence. If they started talking about insurance, or if I mentioned I did insurance, if they said they needed some help, okay, I threw it out there at them. I literally just pounded the phones. I'm not a walk and talk person. I didn't go out and do the typical marketing campaigns that you see some other agents do.
Okay.
I literally was that guy that sat in the office or at my house from morning to night and I just called leads all day long.
That makes me think of another question. So you're the phone guy. You do nothing but phones. Are you only licensed in Illinois?
No, not at all. So at first, like anyone else starting out, I started in my home state, which is Illinois. And then as I started making sales, I didn't take all that money and just spend it on myself. I reinvested in the business, which is the key to this. So as soon as I had enough, little bit of extra money, I went ahead and picked up a Missouri license because I had somebody refer me to a family member in Missouri that needed some help. So I quickly went, purchased the license, helped them out, made a sale. Then progressively went ahead and started adding on states, and now I'm licensed in 39 states.
39?
39.
I think you beat me now, man. What happened? See? I'm telling you guys, man. He started a year after me, and now he's got more states than I did. It's a shame. I need to get back to work. But, dang, at 39? When did you pick up like 15 more? The last time I talked to you.
I just kept adding them on. I don't know. Honestly, I probably have about 10 states that are
really working.
That are unnecessary.
Oh, I see.
It was. I just every time I had a little bit of extra money, and then here we get a little bit of what's called marketing balance that we can go ahead and contribute towards that those type of purchases. So whenever I had a good amount of that, I would just buy 2, 3, 4 states at a time and kept adding them on.
So tell us your secrets. What states do you think are best?
My personal favorites as far as states go, I would say my top 5 are still Illinois. Texas is huge because huge population, big cities down there. I really like Georgia, Florida, probably Virginia. Those are probably the ones that I have the most success in if I had to name a top 5.
Awesome. Well, Roberto, again, this website is geared towards hopefully being a mentor to a lot of agents out there that don't have access to, managers or people just like us. Hey, Paulie, how you doing? They don't have that support. They need somewhere that can help them get over the hump, right? I've had a mentor. We've had many mentors. Who would you say would? You don't have to say names if you don't want to. Who's your mentor, and who would you? What did they do for you? How did they help you in your career?
Well, I've said this many a times, Carlos. I had a manager, but for various reasons, she wasn't here a whole lot. So when I used to come into the office, you were the person that was regularly here.
Besides me, man. Besides
well,
me.
I'm
not trying to toot our horns.
I gotta speak it how it is. So you were always here. So I kind of mirrored my business, my platform after what you did, because he maybe has never said this. He was the guy that was in here, open to close every day, basically pushing and hustling. But
I'll write you a check after we're done here.
All right. So, but outside of that, there was a lot of people here in the office. Your manager Mons helped me out a lot as far as just giving me some encouraging words when I was a little down or just needed some advice. I needed somebody quickly to go to. Besides that, like I said, my manager Eileen helped me out a lot in the beginning. She wasn't as present here in the office, but if I would give her a phone call, she would always return it back and let me know what it is that I needed to do. And then just everyone that's been around here in the office, even by just hearing them. Rich Roberto used to be in the office, and I never asked him anything directly, but just listening to him on the phone, a couple hours a day, I would pick up on, oh, what's that product he's selling? I didn't know that about that plan. And so I would kind of steal it from him or anybody else that may have been sitting around.
So kind of just sucking it all in, learning by osmosis, right? Surrounding yourself with millionaires will probably make you a millionaire, right? Surrounding yourself with agents will probably make you a good agent, right?
Absolutely. The biggest thing I always tell people is if you have the ability to go where other agents that know what they're doing are talking and just listen to them while you're making your dials. You don't necessarily have to bug them and ask them a million questions, but if you can just listen, you will pick up so much by just, hearing them do what it is that they do on a daily basis.
Cool, man. Well, Roberto, guys, if I'm not going to give you his phone number directly, but if you've fallen in love with him and you want to, get in touch with him and talk to him more, you can fill out the contact sheet. But Roberto, I want you to. I want to thank you personally for dressing for the occasion.
Of
for this
course.
Interview. No, man, but thank you, man. I really do appreciate it, and I'm sure it's gonna change somebody's life, man. I appreciate it.
I'm happy to help, man.
Thanks, man.
All right.
Yeah, see? How cool was that? How cool was that? Oh, I hope nobody fucking called me. Oh, good.
Does it mess up if you?
Yeah,
and I
stops it?
I